Hello, I'm Dr. Archer Crosley, and welcome to Real World Pediatrics. So today let's talk about Rob Reiner. Well, what could Rob Reiner and his wife Michele have done to save their son? What could they have done to prevent what eventually transpired the other day? You know, we're all experts and we all think that we're the master psychologists. Ukraine and Venezuela are out. Boring. We are all now Sigmund Freud. There are no shortage of people posting their comments on YouTube and other various social media sites. Most people say that the Reiners weren't tough enough. They say that they should not have enabled their son. They should have pulled out the whip and spanked their spoiled brat. The really cruel people state that they were not tough like Donald Trump, whose children all came out great. They made it a political issue, insinuating that because Rob Reiner was a leftist, that somehow he was soft. Well, it's not a political issue. Addiction can happen in any family, rich or poor, right or left. It happened in my extended family to my stepbrother. It's easy for us to sit back and pass judgment on the Reiners. And it's easy for us to do that because we are not emotionally involved in Nick Reiner. After all, he is not our son. But the Reiners were emotionally invested in their son, and that is what makes decisions in life difficult. Their rational minds knew that their son needed help and that they needed to exert tough love. But their emotional minds wanted to reach out and hold him and to help him get through his difficulties. That's what a parent is supposed to do, right? They were in an impossible situation, and I'm sure they experienced many sleepless nights. They racked their brains for the magic words, the open sesame statement that would magically fix their son. And perhaps you too, the listener, are in the same situation, where you are looking for the magic words to fix your son or your daughter. If so, you've probably read 1 million books and listened to 1 million people talk about this issue, and you're lost. And if you are not in this situation now with your son or daughter, the day may come when you are in this situation. Well, let's begin with what is going on with the addicted child. And I'm going to give you my perspective of watching people over my lifetime. At their core, the dysfunctional, drug-addicted child has lost confidence in himself to solve simple problems. Whereas we, who are more normal, are able to overcome simple obstacles in our daily life by tackling the problem from a different angle, or waiting a few hours or a day to come back and try again. The dysfunctional child cannot do that. When they are confronted with a simple problem, they collapse. They suffer internal anxiety and then disintegrate into despair. Internal frustration overwhelms them and causes them to either give up, quit completely, or relapse into drugs. We often can't understand that because the problem they are facing seems very simple. Now, why they have this problem is an academic discussion. They have the problem. Asking them to shape up and see the light of day isn't going to work because they don't have the ability to solve their problems. I think this helps explain why interventions and family meetings don't work. In fact, I think interventions do a lot of harm. In an intervention, a number of people sit around a circle, usually family members, and talk to the child about why they need to change their ways. Now, it's done with good intentions, but the emotional load upon the child is devastating. The child will feel as if he or she is being ganged up upon. Additionally, loading all this emotional weight upon the child is akin to to asking a person who has a broken femur to carry a television set across the living room. That child with a broken femur doesn't have the ability to do that. Likewise, a child who has been emotionally and mentally compromised by drugs and feeling of despair doesn't have the ability to pull themselves up by the bootstraps in order to get their life straight. That is why interventions often fail, and as I've said, do more harm than good. One has to wonder who the intervention is for, the addicted child or the parent. What the child needs is a structured environment where they can relearn basic problem-solving skills and reemerge, not as a screw-up, but as a successful person with skills. Obviously, this should be a drug-free environment where they can live. And it may, at some point, need to be a permanent situation. Unfortunately, some children are too far gone to ever live in the regular world again. They need structured living, otherwise known as an institution. And as I have stated, they may need this for a long period of time, not just 21 days or a couple of months. If we can teach addicted children to learn problem-solving skills, they can then learn to have confidence in themselves so that they can function in the regular world. Screaming at them only reinforces to them their opinion of themselves as a screw-up. An intervention, likewise, only reinforces to them their opinion of themselves as a screw-up. Just as a person with a broken femur needs rest and gradual rehabilitation, so does the drug addict. Patience and persistence with the right kind of environment is what can help. Thank you.